Today's environment is one that's challenging for recruits, and so we've gone to a person who knows what is going on and how you can find solutions to it. His name is Tom Dimmick, and he joins me right now from DK Search, his firm that's located in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Tom, thanks for joining us today.
You're quite welcome. Glad to be here.
Well, we're seeing a lot going on in the market, and you're in a place where you're working with people that are looking for a job, employers that are looking for people. It looks pretty gloom and doom out there when we read the news. What are you seeing from your perspective?
I think that first and foremost, that good talent is always going to be in demand. And it's going to be in demand whether or not there are economic dislocations like we have now or not. If people really are marketable, then they will be able to find work. It is just that simple.
It makes sense. What would you recommend to someone who is looking at being laid off, or they already are, and they're thinking, gee, I've got to become more marketable? What specific steps can they take to improve their marketability in today's environment?
Good question. I think first and foremost, people need to know and to understand that this process is not an exact process by any stretch of the imagination.
It's not a science.
It is not a science. And it is full of subjective, kind of loosey-goosey results. It is not something that anyone has been able to quantify very effectively.
Now, Tom, I was hoping you would say wear a red suit, a blue suit with a red tie or something like that, and would work every time. So that's not true, huh?
No, none of those things. And in fact, employers increasingly are using pre-employment tests. Things like Caliper Online is one of the tests that people use. Bartell and Bartell is one here in out-of-state college, Pennsylvania, that is well known. There is a 16PF. There is the QPC. They're the Wonderlic. They go on and they go on. All of which is designed to minimize the likelihood of a bad hire. But that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. And it doesn't mean that simply because you did poorly on one test at one time that you should consider yourself a poor candidate.
Okay.
Always, it is about fit. Daniel Goleman wrote a book called Emotional Intelligence. Most people have gone through that and read that. It's a terrific document, and I recommend it highly to anybody that's entering the workforce or has been in the workforce and needs to improve their skills. But it will point out to you that there really is a fit. You can hire skills. That's pretty easy. And you can train skills. What you can't train is talent. Talent is all about fit. And that's where people need to understand that they may or may not be the right fit for a particular opportunity.
Yeah, but it would
and not be discouraged by that.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And not be discouraged by that. Don't take it personally.
Yes. I mean, like, if it doesn't work in this one, don't get discouraged. Just keep going at it. I guess that old persistence thing still is important.
It's a numbers activity. The more places you have your resume, the more recruiters you're working with, the more times that you have submitted yourself to scrutiny of the interview process, the greater the likelihood is you're going to land and land quickly.
Okay. From what you're seeing and what you're hearing from employers, when are we going to pull out of this malaise that we're in, this downturn in the economy? How is your crystal ball today? What would you say to us?
I would tell you that normally, fourth calendar quarter is one of the busiest times for most recruiters, because that's when people are trying to get their last hires in before the end of the year, new budget and new budget constraints and so forth. But this year I have seen for the first time, and I've been in business since 2003 on my own, and this is the first time that I've really seen everyone kind of putting on the brakes and saying, I really think I want to wait until after the first of the year. I think the elections had something to do with that. I think that the economy itself obviously has a great deal to do with that. But I believe that everybody is waiting to see what is going to happen after the first of the year.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, then I can see it would be great to talk with you for hours. You have a wealth of information. But before we let you get away, Tom, any words of advice that you would give to that person who is discouraged? They're reading the news. They're looking for a job. They're feeling kind of down. It's the holiday time. What would you tell them if you could sit down, talk with them, and look at things from a realistic point of view and from where we're looking at for 2009?
Okay. Three things. First of all, be very clear as to what it is that you do and do not want in terms of your employment relationship. Take the time to figure out what kind of job, what kind of company, what kind of geography, what kind of work it is that you really want to do, and then pursue that. Secondly, find those recruiters and those locations that are going to meet the criteria that you've established in the first of those questions. And then third, be persistent.
There's that persistence thing.
Enthusiastic and be persistent.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Well, Tom, thank you very much for your time. And if someone wants to connect with you, they want to get some more information, they want to find some opportunities, what's the best way for someone to reach you?
Email is always the best.
Excellent. What is that?
That's Tom, T-O-M, .dk, search the name of my firm, at Epix, and that's EPIX.net.
Wonderful. Well, Tom, thank you very much for being with us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye now, Terry.